Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine on this Sunday morning. Guys, how's it all going, guys? I think some people need to go to church. Definitely Newcastle fans do, because you know what? We're in for a killer show today. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video whilst you're in here, guys. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Now, let's get straight into the news. Of course, the news was circulating yesterday, reported by various outlets around the world, that Newcastle United's bid of 75 million euros plus 5 million in incentives and add-ons was rejected by Newcastle United last night, guys. So what does that mean for Manchester United? Manchester United have already informed RB Leipzig that they will make a bid after Newcastle United have made their unsuccessful bid. So what does that mean? It basically means that Man United can steal a march on this transfer and can snatch Cesco from the grass, from the mittens of Newcastle United, guys. As we know, Fabrizio Romano reported it a few weeks ago that Benjamin Cesco has a special club release clause. Now, what does that mean? It means basically a special club, i.e. Manchester United, Real Madrid, that sort of team comes in for Cesco. RB Leipzig have to accept the offer. It's quite obvious, Newcastle, my friends, you're not a special club. So that does it mean that Cesco is going to sign for Man United? Of course it doesn't. But what does it mean? It means that Man United have stolen a march and Man United are favourites to sign Benjamin Cesco unless Newcastle can significantly up their offer, guys. It is very interesting what's going on at the moment in regards to this Cesco saga. It's always a saga with Manchester United, by the way. Why can't we just have a peaceful transfer? Can't we just have a peaceful transfer? Can't we have a day where it's, you know what, it's relaxed and you know what, we don't need to worry too much. It's going to go through, never on our watch, of course, because it's Manchester United at the end of the day. We have to make a drama about it. But the fact that Manchester United have informed RB Leipzig that they will be making a bid imminently does say a lot about this deal, that Man United are pretty confident that they're going to wrap up this deal. As I said yesterday, the fact that Manchester United withdrew from the Ollie Watkins negotiations, transfer talk, says a lot, really, because putting all your eggs in one basket is extremely risky unless you believed that you were going to sign the player Cesco. I do believe before Newcastle United made this bid, as I said yesterday, people are saying that he's going to sign for Newcastle. He's going to sign. Look, I told you yesterday that is not a given. That is, you know, don't overreact. It's not a given. Just because Newcastle got the money, just because Newcastle in the Champions League doesn't mean anything. They're not a special club at the end of the day. Manchester United are. So basically, you know, the fact that we've withdrawn from the Ollie Watkins negotiations and Man United have been in negotiations really with Benjamin Cesco. I reported first on the June the 1st, guys. Man United have been speaking about Benjamin Cesco. And Manchester United have been interested in Benjamin Cesco since he was a 16-year-old. So, you know what? There's a lot of history there in regards to Benjamin Cesco, Manchester United, etc. Newcastle United are quite new in this. But I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle United go and get likes of a Wisa or a Ollie Watkins and stuff like that. Look, do you know what I mean? This player is going to be expensive. I mean, I do believe it is his market value. Look, guys, I'm not going to flip-flop on this. He was never going to be my first choice player as a striker, but it is what it is. If we get Benjamin Cesco, it is what it is. And I do believe that he can turn into a world-class striker down the line and become a very, very good player for Manchester United. We haven't got him yet. Of course, there's a lot of work to be done. Manchester United need to put in their bid. The bid needs to be accepted, of course. The bid needs to be sufficient. And obviously, we have to agree personal terms with Benjamin Cesco. I did say yesterday that Benjamin Cesco needs to come out and say that he wants to play for Manchester United. Once he says that I want to play for Man United, that's the only club for me, that's the end of it at the end of the day, because then no other rival club will go in for him. And obviously, RB Leipzig will be forced their hand to sell him because they can't have a player who's going to be disgruntled and unhappy at the football club. Benjamin Cesco has not made a decision yet in regards to his future, however. But this could be imminent. We're talking as little as next week. Benjamin Cesco could be making his decision on what he's going to do with his future. One thing that looks pretty certain at the moment is he's going to be leaving RB Leipzig. And whoever that is he goes to, I hope it's Manchester United, of course. But obviously, there's a lot of work to do next week in regards to this deal. There will be news coming out, flashing around. There'll be fake news flashing around. There'll be people, aggregators who are trying to dismantle or disrupt Manchester United in regards to their transfer proceedings and affecting the mentality and the morale of the Man United fan base, because this is what the media do to Manchester United, certain quarters of the media anyway, guys. But you know what? A little bit of positive news in regards to that. Newcastle's bid was debunked. It was rejected last night. Very big offer, obviously, 75 million plus 5 million in add-ons in euros, though, guys. In euros, that's about 65 million pounds, guys, and that with 5 million in add-ons in pounds, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone is blessed. Good to see everyone in the house, of course, guys. Good to see. Big up Cornish Maid. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Well, it was good to wake up to Newcastle been rejected. Absolutely. A little bit of good news, isn't it, at the end of the day? Good morning, Randall. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. And good morning, the legend, Tyborg. How you doing, fella? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, guys. I just want this saga to end. Me too, mate. There is still time for us to do deals if he decides to join Newcastle, but i.e. the decision must come ASAP. We can move on to next week. Absolutely. It's very important that Man United do move on. If we are unable to get this deal over the line, I believe Man United will get this deal over the line, especially the fact that Newcastle's bid was rejected. Let's not forget that that was Newcastle's record bid, you know, and guys, Newcastle, during the 90s, they spent the most money, right? And for them to have a record bid rejected, you know what, it's quite big for them. But you know what I would say is that hopefully we, as you said, Tyburg, hopefully we get this deal over the line. Hopefully it's quickly done and we can move on to next targets, because you know what, the preseason is dragging on now. It's getting close to the first game of the season against Arsenal. I did predict last week, didn't I, Tyburg, that you know what, it's going to be a couple of days before the Arsenal game before we get Cesco over the line. I got this feeling that it's going to be like that. I do feel like that. You know, it does depend on the player. It does depend on Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United are not the kind of team to walk in there like a boss and throw a bunch of money on the table. We're the sort of people who go in there like it's a bank and we say, listen, look, we want to pay him in installments. We want to pay him in 20 million a year and things. And that might take a little bit of time, isn't it? Even though Cesco will want to sign for Manchester United, RB Leipzig will sell him to Manchester United. It's going to be all to do with the payment plan. What Man United do, isn't it, at the end of the day? And look, as you said there, Tyborg, I don't want to be us to putting all our eggs in one basket. I want us to be looking at other players as well. I want the goalkeeper situation to be sorted out. I want the midfield situation to be sorted out. The right wing back situation to be sorted out. And obviously, hopefully, we can get transfers over the line, guys. Absolutely. That will be fantastic. Good morning, by the way. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Emiski. Good morning, Sal. Excited Newcastle deal rejected. Hope we get agreed to Cesco to get this deal done. Absolutely, Emiski. And you said it yesterday. Obviously, a lot of people were overreacting in regards to he's going to go to Newcastle. He's going to go. Rumors about Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp spoke to Benjamin Sesko and told him not to go to Manchester United, which obviously was all lies. I debunked it yesterday. Absolutely. Guys, it is absolute nonsense. You know, that was never going to be the case. You know, there's a conflict of interest as well, as we all know. Jurgen Klopp's background and etc. That was never going to happen, guys. Absolutely. Now, thinking about Benjamin Cesco, guys, and you know what? It was never going to be easy for Manchester United. 2 years ago, I reported Benjamin Cesco. I spoke about Benjamin Cesco coming to Manchester United. But Benjamin Cesco has always been pretty honest about where he wants to go. He's always been honest about his ability. He did say back then that he was not ready for a team like Manchester United, although he would love a move to Manchester United. He was not ready. And that is fair play to him, because it's very refreshing to have a little bit of honesty. And I admired that about what he said then, because he could have just easily took the money and come to Manchester United. And, you know, it might have flopped like Erasmus Hojlund did, for example. You know, and no one could say anything to Cesco if you know, at the end of the day back then. And what I would say is that he would be a great signing for Manchester United. He would represent a Manchester United type signing. Obviously, the age, etc., is on his favor and stuff. But if the worst case scenario did eventually happen, if it happened, are Manchester United going to have a contingency plan in regards to the striker department? Now, look, there's obviously rumours about Mateta coming to Manchester United, of course. Nothing concrete in regards to that. Man United have not made any strides, any moves in regards to Mateta. But Man United do need to keep a contingency plan there, whoever the striker is, just so that we can bring a striker in. Can Man United go back in for Ollie Watkins if the Cesco deal gets rejected? You know, it's going to be difficult now because obviously Man United are quite publicly turned their back on the Cesco deal. This is why, on the Ollie Watkins deal, this is why I'm pretty certain that Man United are confident that they're going to get this Cesco deal over the line, because obviously they just put all their eggs in the Cesco basket, which means that they're very confident they've done enough to get this deal done, of course, guys. And it would be very risky to do something like that if you haven't got negotiations or agreements in place already, if you know what I mean. Absolutely. Cornish, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm thinking about that within the next 24 hours, we will know which way we go. Let's hope it's as quickly as possible, Cornish, Melissa. Let's hope it's as quickly as possible. Let's hope we get this announcement, this decision quickly. Obviously, Benjamin Sesko has not publicly made a decision, subject to popular belief. Obviously, yesterday there was all the news that he's already decided on Newcastle, which I clarified yesterday was absolutely impossible, because at the end of the day, he's spoken to no one about it. It's a secret conversation between himself and his family. Of course, people were looking at the fact that, oh my goodness me, it's Slovenian outlets. So what? You know, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Look, just because I live in England doesn't mean I know news about Exeter City, who they're going to sign, does it? At the end of the day, just because I live in England, people just overreact. And obviously, because it's Manchester United, they're going to overreact and overinflate it because it adds a little bit of negativity over Manchester United. We got to understand this when we read the media. We really need to understand where these media are coming from in regards to their mentality and what they think about our football club. They don't like our football club, and we have to understand that there are many huge outlets out there who don't like our football club, and their main task is to disrupt Manchester United. We have caused a lot of Manchester United folk, media and fans, a lot of pain over the last 30 years, guys. And they're loving this moment of Manchester United. They're loving the fact that we're not there yet. We're not winning at the moment. They're loving this. They're enjoying this. So us as fans, what we need to do is take everything they say with a pinch of salt. Unless, of course, it is major outlets. Take everything with a pinch of salt, because yes, Newcastle United put a bid on the table. I clarified that yesterday. Newcastle put a bid on the table, but no, he has not made his decision. He's not decided to go to Newcastle United, and that is the most disillusioning thing for me, because you know what, you look at the media and you want to trust the media, but then they're coming out with nonsense, you know, just to add a little bit spice, a little masala to the deal and act like, oh, they're in the know. And you know what? And it is always negative against Manchester United. And this is what you need to look at the end of the day. And some of them have big platforms, of course. Morning. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Muddy. Good to see you, mate. Here we go soon. Yeah, nearly. Hope we do, Kenny. Hopefully, big up. Good morning, Sal. Newcastle been rejected everywhere. Yes, Natty, Newcastle rejected. As I said yesterday, look, at the end of the day, Manchester United and Cesco have a special club release clause. Look, man, Cesco has a special club release clause. Newcastle do not fall in the category of a special club, unfortunately. That's not me saying it. That's everyone saying it. And that's basically RB Leipzig saying it. Manchester United have a special club release clause. So basically, if Manchester United came in with the same offer that Newcastle United came in, and let me just stress, right, this. It is 65 million. It has always been 65 billion pounds, right? That goes up to 80 million euros, right? In regards to add-ons, okay? That is the normal market rate for Benjamin Cesco. That is what we were looking at the beginning, okay? So if Man United made a move for Benjamin Cesco with the same money as Newcastle United, RB will be obliged to accept that offer because it is a special club, and Manchester United are a special club, of course. Natty. So why do you think they're rejecting Newcastle United bid? Because at the end of the day, there are a whole number of problems, a whole number of issues that could be in place in regards to the offer. They don't like the offer. It's not enough. As I've been speaking about the special club, you know, maybe Cesco does not want to go to Newcastle United, and RB Leipzig don't want to entertain it, don't want to waste their time. Maybe that is a big factor as well. That could be the factor that he doesn't want to go to Newcastle United. And probably they've already been in. Look, I would look at things glass half full. I would always do that. And probably because they've always been in discussions with Manchester United about a deal. They're very deep in discussion with Manchester United about Benjamin Cesco. Maybe there's always something in place in regards to Benjamin Cesco, and selling into Manchester United be more viable. Another scenario could be that they might want to do a deal with Manchester United. They might want to bring in Rasmus Hojlund or someone like that. Of course, there's rumours about Rasmus Hojlund not wanting to come to Manchester United, not wanting to go to RB Leipzig, but that's not absolute. That's not the absolute gospel. I mean, at the end of the day, if RB Leipzig could possibly get a loan for Rasmus Hojlund, in regards to that. It'd be good for Rasmus Hojlund, wouldn't it? And be good for RB Leipzig, you know, at the end of the day, and Manchester United, if they manage to get a loan. So there could be loads of stipulations, loads of reasons why they rejected that bid. A big part of it could be they just didn't accept the bid, and the bid was, you know, not enough for them. Absolutely not. Big up, Natty. Good to see you, of course. Tybo, if Cesco was pushing for the Newcastle deal, it would have been rejected. It would never be exactly, Tybo. It would never be rejected by Leipzig, which feeds into the theory that Cesco, Manchester United is very, very close, in my opinion. It is very close, and Man United just need to agree a fee with RB Leipzig. I do believe that Cesco wants to come to Manchester United. I've always said that his agent and Cesco are Manchester United fans. That does make a big difference, of course, because if it was me and Newcastle in the Champions League and Manchester United wanted me, but they're not in the Champions League, I'll still go to Manchester United because I'm a Man United supporter. It does make a big difference in regards to where you go, of course. But his agent as well has been speaking in his ear. Obviously, the Christopher Vell effect as well. The Christopher Vell thing is a big thing, guys. People talk about, oh, you know what, Jurgen Klopp. Let's not forget about Christopher Vell, guys, in this situation. This is why he was brought to this football club, because he has the connection with Red Bull. He has the connection with RB Leipzig, Salzburg, and these teams. Proper connection. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. And he's very influential, Christopher Vell. So when it comes to players, and he's friends with Benjamin Cesco, personal friends with Benjamin Cesco. So when it comes to that, that obviously adds all the bows in our armor, doesn't it? You know, and I would say that, yeah, look, you know what? I'm not going to get overly giddy. I'm not going to get overly zealous in regards to the transfer. But in my opinion, as I've always said, it looks likely and it is close that he goes to Manchester United, and that will be announced very, very soon. But things can change in football. And I stress, things can change in football. I've been around football a very long time. I know for a fact I've seen players holding up shirts and then signing for another club a couple of days later. I know about what can happen in football. And you know what? We won't get carried away until this deal is clarified and it's been done, signed, sealed, delivered. Stevie Wonder. Absolutely. Dylan, good morning. Man United monitoring Benjamin Cesco. Big up, mate. Hope you're doing well. Natty, it was good how they handled the transfer. United is very intelligent. In parts, Man United are very intelligent. Also, Man United, which I liked about the whole situation, which I liked about the news about Manchester United waiting for Benjamin Cesco to announce his future, to say that I want Manchester United. You know, then once he says that, just like Mbeumo did. Let's not forget Mbeumo did the same. Maybe Man United played that same card. Announce that you want Manchester United. What does that do? That nullifies every other football club. So that means that he only wants Manchester United. For example, Isaac. Isaac shut the door on Man United, right? Even though they're just using Man United's name, and he wants to go to Liverpool. So once he wants to go to Liverpool, everyone knows subconsciously that he's going to Liverpool. He's going to Liverpool. And they're not going to make a bid because they already know that he wants to go to Liverpool. Just like Cesco. This is what Man United are doing at the moment. I think Man United have played a blinder in this one. You have to give credit where it's due. But now this is where the nitty-gritty happens, isn't it? This is where we get to the part where we give them the biggest criticism in regards to the speed of the deal. You know, we don't want to go into this deal now. If Benjamin Cesco accepts to come to Manchester United and RB Leipzig are willing to sell him to Manchester United, we don't want to be dragging this out now. We need to get this deal done quickly. Hopefully it will be done quickly and not like the Mbeumo deal. I do know that Brentford played a huge part in that, but we did as well, obviously, because we wanted the payment plan with Brentford. But hopefully it won't be that strenuous, and hopefully it won't be 50 days like it was with the Mbeumo deal. I do feel, however, keep your hats on, guys, because this could drag on. This could drag on. He may make his decision tomorrow, but the decision between Manchester United and RB Leipzig in regards to the price and that could possibly drag on for a longer period of time, of course, which means it'll probably be a Manchester United player, given a medical, given everything like that, by the start of the season, which will probably be the Arsenal game. I don't think I'm going to predict this right now, guys. I don't think he'll play against Arsenal. And that's what I'm saying right now, even though it would have been fantastic and we needed him. Of course. Natty, I do not think Newcastle will bid after this rejection. We would need to agree to this. Newcastle also speaking with Wisa, of course. So that is a big thing. They're speaking with Wisa. So, you know what? They are already looking at alternatives. They're also speaking with Ollie Watkins, of course. So we have to wait and see with that. I said yesterday that the news will come out at some point that United were preparing a bid and Newcastle will bid. I already knew that, mate. I've been speaking about it yesterday. At the end of the day, who's your source, Muddy? Trust me, bro. Look, at the end of the day, what I would say, yeah, you're absolutely right. I said it yesterday. Don't get carried away with this. It's just the initial stages of the bid. And, teams can bid. Any teams can bid. that happens in football. Any team can bid for a player. Any team can come out of nowhere and bid. Even a League Two team can come out and bid for Cesco. There's nothing stopping him in doing that. But obviously, a lot of people got carried away because it's Newcastle United. They've got the Saudi owners and et cetera, et cetera. But it's still Newcastle United at the end of the day. And we're Manchester United at the end of the day. I don't think the Saudi owners at Newcastle United have done quite as much as they could have done at Newcastle United in regards to transfers. Of course, there is obviously the problems with PSR and FFP with Newcastle United. But they have been an absolute disaster class in this transfer window, which is surprising given the amount of resources that they have. You know, that is very surprising. Look, you can't paint everyone with the same brush. You can't paint the Qataris with the Saudis. There are different mentalities here. There are different levels to this game in regards to the way they act as owners. And what I would say is that these Saudis don't seem like a very forthwith ownership in regards to they're going to spend 500 million on players. It just seems that way at the end of the day. Tybug. We put Shakespeare to shame when it comes to writing dramas. My goodness me, Tybug, absolutely. You know what? Someone needs to make a buck on the Netflix series really quickly because that Netflix series would be the new Breaking Bad. I'm telling you right now, Manchester United transfer sagas, Series 1, Series 2, Series 3. We've had them, haven't we? We've had them. And we've been embarrassed in this transfer market. Ever since Sir Alex Ferguson left his football club, we've had a lot of embarrassment in regards to certain transfers, you know, and it is, you know, we ruined the great name of Manchester United. We've ruined relationships with certain clubs that we built. We spent years building relationships with, do you know what I mean? And it is disappointing in regards to that, the way we've been doing business over the last, was it now 15 years or so? You know, it has been really bad. And ruined the great name of Manchester United. And that is the Glazers, of course. The Glazers have a big part to play in that. Woodward, Murto have a big part to play in that, of course. But it does ultimately boil down to what the Glazers have done to this great football club, of course. Now, guys, look, speaking of the Glazers, speaking of Ineos, apparently, according to the Daily Mail, the Daily Telegraph, the news about the stadium. The stadium basically has been rebuffed, should I say. So basically, let me just read out this, guys, for you. This is coming out recently, just basically the last 24 hours. If I could find it, let me find it for you. Let me just find it for you. Okay, I've got it here somewhere. So let me just read this. If I can find it for you, I will get it for you. Let me get it on here. Okay, so I'm going to read this out to you guys. Let me just get this up because I'm going to read it out for you. Right. All right, let me get it. I'm going to get it in a minute, guys. Bear me. Yeah, so basically, this is coming in from The Guardian. This is coming in from The Guardian, okay, guys? So I'm going to bring this in. Guys. Manchester United's new Wembley of the North stadium plans hits the buffers. Talks deadlocked over asking price for the rail terminal site. Freightliner's 400 million demand could delay 4.2 million bid for the obviously regeneration project and the stadium. So Freightliners are the ones who are dealing with this. Manchester United plans to rebuild a 100,000 seat stadium next to Old Trafford are facing delays due to a standoff over the price of the land to begin work on the construction of the proposed ground Sir Jim Ratcliffe has called the Wembley of the North. The club want land used as a rail freight terminal to complete the Old Trafford regeneration project, which they claim will bring 7.3 billion a year to the UK economy. United have held talks with Freightliner, the haulage company that own and operate the terminal, about buying the land. But negotiations are deadlocked due to a disagreement over the price. Now, big up Freightliner, by the way, because Freightliners are the ones that hold the key here, guys. Freightliners are the ones who are going to give the key to the regeneration project. This regeneration project cannot go ahead unless Ineos do the deal with Freightliner and they get this land. They can't do it otherwise, because at the end of the day, if they've refused to sell, this is not going ahead, guys. Absolutely, this is not going ahead. And this is good news in regards, because I've always said, if Manchester United want to have a full sale, Glazers out, this regeneration project needs to be rejected, guys. This regeneration project needs to be out the window. So basically, the company name of Freightliners There is a 400 million demand from Freightliners in regards to if Ineos are going to purchase this from Freightliners, this piece of land from Freightliners, they're going to have to pay 400 million. If they don't, this regeneration project is going to hit a wall, guys. It's going to hit a wall. So let's hope that this whole thing doesn't go ahead, of course, guys. Absolutely. Morning, Mark. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Good to see you. I'm seeing Cesco going to Newcastle due to their financial ability. No, it doesn't mean anything. Absolutely not. They've got problems. You're seeing delusionally, my friend. I do not think he would choose Newcastle over United. Cannot make any sense. Absolutely not. They're not listening for the sake of talking, not looking at the facts of what I've been speaking about, of course. Sal, what is the news on Fermin Lopez? Now, let's get into this, guys. News is circulating yesterday about Fermin Lopez. Of course, Fermin Lopez is an attacking midfielder who currently plays for Barcelona. 22-year-old, very talented player, 2 caps for Spain already. Manchester United inquired about the possibility of bringing the midfielder to Manchester United in a 70 million deal, guys. He can play as a central midfielder. He can play as a left winger. He can play as an attacking midfielder. He is a very, very talented player, and one that Manchester United should be looking at, the type of players that Manchester United should be looking at. Liverpool are also interested in this player, guys. They're also interested in this player. Barcelona need to raise some funds, and Manchester United are looking at this player in regards to a deal. His market value is about 50 million euros, guys. So watch this space, guys. Within the next few days, you might hear more about Fermin Lopez. Look, it's another player off the conveyor belt of players that have been linked with Manchester United, of course, guys. We have to take everything with a pinch of salt. But Fermin Lopez linked with Manchester United, I feel it would be a fantastic type of signing that Man United could do if we get a striker in and a goalkeeper in as well and bring him into that midfield. He could play like that number 8 position, you know what I mean, in there. It'd be absolutely fantastic. I don't think we got any room for the attacking midfielder, considering we got Mbeumo and we got Cunha at the football club already. I think if we buy it as someone like Fermin, he's going to be in the midfield, guys. I think he'll be in the midfield in that position. Guys, the problem is obviously the price. Man United do have a problem with money, as we know, guys. So the problem will be the price. 70 million does look a bit steep at the moment, but obviously Man United are doing deals in which they can approach deals in installments, etc., as we're going to do with this Cesco deal as well. So Fermin Lopez is another one off the rucker, is another one off the conveyor belt of players that Manchester United are linked with. Highly talented players, sort of players that Man United should be looking at, in my humblest of opinions, guys. So obviously that was circulating yesterday. Barcelona need to sell to raise some funds. So let's see what happens about that. Let's see if anything materializes in regards to that, guys. But always, as I say, everything in regards to rumors, always take everything with a little pinch of salt, because obviously Manchester United have been linked with over 100 players, it seems, over this last month. So don't be surprised if this is just another one on the list. But I will not paint everyone with the same brush. I will not paint every transfer with the same brush, of course, guys. Absolutely. Fermin Lopez, Manchester United. Watch this space, guys. Absolutely. So let's have a look at that. Sesco to Lee. Big up, Lee. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Always good to have different opinions and always good to have different fans in the channel. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you very much. That's it. The news is Barcelona don't want to sell Lopez, so it'd be hard to, unless the player so asked to leave. He has to ask to leave, but there is obviously news that Newcastle, Barcelona don't want to sell him, but they have to raise a few funds because they want to purchase a couple of players there. Of course. But let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Obviously, there's a lot of news going out. Sal, if Cesco deal failed, for the argument's sake, who would you do? Watkins or Wisa? For me, Natty, I don't want any of them. I want Mateta all day long. If it all else fails, I want Mateta. Lee, we'll see what happens. Everything is possible, mate. Everything's possible in football. Everything could change. We've seen Mikel holding up a shirt for Manchester United and ends up signing for Chelsea the next day. Anything can happen in football. My feeling is that will Newcastle just give up? I don't think Newcastle will just give up. I honestly feel that Newcastle pride will be hurt. Obviously, ego and stuff like that will be hurt a little bit. But obviously, this is why it all comes down to the player. This is why it's really important that we wait for what the player wants. Because once the player comes out and declares what he wants, then we're going to obviously have a clearer idea of what's going to happen. Of course, Here we go, so deluded. The only deluded person is you, Moed Shafiq, 1, 2, 3. Because at the end of the day, 1, 2, 3. Basically, that's basically the depths of your education, mate. 1, 2, 3. You don't know beyond that, mate, because that is what your depths of education is. 1, 2, 3. There you go, mate. 1, 2, 3. Maybe you'd be able to say it backwards as well. 3, 2, 1. Again, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. There you go. You do ABC next, Mohammed. Listen, your next lesson, Moed, your next lesson is the ABC. We're going to do that for you next time, and we could do that for you as well, mate. Absolutely. Big up. Muddy, big up basically means well done. Muddy, who's the Barca midfielder that clearly wants a new deal and using United's name again, can't see us signing another midfielder this summer. Think what they were the next summer. It's absolutely the case, Muddy. This is why I said we always have to take things with a pinch of salt in regards to transfers. Because look, what I would say to this, Muddy, why would someone like Fermin Lopez be fishing for a new contract when Barcelona would give him a new contract anyway because he's highly talented Spanish international? Why would he need to use Man United's name? Think about it. Why would he need to use Man United? He's not vying for a transfer away. So why would he want to use Man United's name to get a new contract at Barcelona? Barcelona have already offered him they're already ready to offer him a new contract. You know? Unless he wants more money, of course. I don't know. Maybe fluctuate his valuation. Ali, no, there will be not, because we did not put in sell-on clause and on the payment arranging what is being worked on. Let's wait and see, Lee. As I said in this channel, Lee, I don't deal with absolutes on this channel. We talk about everything from all different angles. We do talk about it from the Newcastle angle and why he would go to Manchester United. But Manchester United are a bigger club than Newcastle. It doesn't matter where you are on the pitch. Manchester United will always be a more attractive proposition for footballers. Look, Newcastle, look, you may be in a few years, you may be this great team that you all envision that you are, but Newcastle are a local big team. They are a big team in Newcastle. You could travel for miles, you would not see a Newcastle jersey, mate. I live in the UAE, I've traveled the world. I've not seen one Newcastle jersey. I was in Naples last week, right? I saw a Manchester United jersey in Naples. You know what I mean? Of all places. Do you know what I mean? I've seen Manchester United jerseys all around the world. Newcastle is just not that club. I know you want to be, and fair play, you've always tried to be. You spent the most in the 90s. You still didn't get there. You still didn't get to your promised land. Love it if we beat them. Love it. And what happened? You know what I mean? So what I would say, Newcastle, look, listen. Let's see what happens. Anything can happen in football, but nothing is absolute. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You watch, it's not like that. Let's wait and see what happens. All that matters the most is what happens with Benjamin Cesco, who Benjamin Cesco wants to sign for, and he has the keys to the kingdom, basically. Big up, Lee. Colonel, big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing good, my friend. We have been given a star boy Tracy to Barcelona. The least they can do is give us Fermin Lopez. There you go. Absolutely, Dylan. Seeing it from the other angle. Absolutely. Big up, my friend Dylan, of course. Randy, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Are we doing well? John O'Connell, morning, sir. Big up, John O'Connell. How you doing, my friend? Colonel, I think the bid for Cesco will hold in some point today. I think so. It will probably be today or tomorrow. And obviously, the fact that Manchester United are waited for Newcastle to do the bid so that they can come in with their counter offer. So basically, chop them down by the source. They've been very clever in this deal, to be honest with you. But I do believe Man United have been in for this deal for a lot longer than what Newcastle have at the end of the day. What's with the narrative? It's because we did not put in a sell-on clause on it where we got rejected. And there is a special club sell-on clause, Lee. And Newcastle not a special club. Sorry, mate. As much as you want to say, mate, Newcastle are not a special club. Newcastle haven't even won a Premier League, for goodness sake. You know what I would say. And I'm not dissing Newcastle. I like Newcastle. I like Newcastle as a city. I've been there loads of times. Fantastic city. Great people. You know what I mean? Jimmy Now, all that business. Do you know what I mean? What I would say. But you know what I mean? I don't want nobody else. I love you. She's lying. You're lying. Because at the end of the day, you know what? RB said you're definitely lying with that bid, mate. Absolutely. You're not going anywhere with that bid, mate. Tyborg, agree 100% Sal. The key is in Vivel. Yeah, Vivel is the key. And people forget this. People only want to see things from their narrative. They only want to see things from their perspective. You know what I mean? Basically, they just want their opinion put forth. But look, I call things as they are. Tybo calls things as they are. We all call things as they are. We read things as they are. And that's what we do. We don't just do absolutes on this channel. You know, we do see things for what they are. Of course, Cesco can go to Newcastle. That's quite a possibility. He could go to Newcastle. Anything can happen, especially the way Manchester United do their penny pinching business. Obviously, Cesco's one thing, but then Man United need to go into RB Leipzig and try and agree a deal with RB Leipzig, which is going to be a different story, of course. Ranjit, good morning. Sal, Hojlund is getting better each game for his pre-season. He might surprise the doubters. Look, Ranjit, the overriding thing with me in regards to Rasmus Hojlund is that I support the lad. I've been supporting the lad for a very long time. Some people say I've been overly supportive of Rasmus Hojlund, but this is a very, very important, not important season, guys. I'm not talking about an important season. This opening few games is important for me. I don't want to see any more of it, guys, because what we have to understand at the same time, as much as we like Rasmus, as he's a young player, and he don't paint everyone with the same brush, of course, because we all know how players can be when they're 22 years old. But at 22, 23, you should show things that you are starting to develop into a very good striker. And I hope he does, Ranjit. Big up Ranjit. I hope he does. I hope he becomes the player that we all hoped he'd become when we were excited to sign him. I would love to keep Rasmus and have Cesco as well. It would help the squad immensely because at the end of the day, they could feed off each other, use each other as leverage. Of course, when one scores, you want to score again. Man United always used to have those relationships in the football team, you know? We always used to have those relationships where we're sort of kind of mini competing with each other, you know what I mean, to do better. And also, as we know, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, the competition that they had between each other, they elevate each other on a much higher scale, of course, guys. I know that. But if you have Rasmus and Cesco playing in this football team, you never know that it might elevate Rasmus to be better, you know, at the end of the day. Just like the left backs, the left wing backs of Dorgu and Diego Leon will probably elevate Luke Shaw, wouldn't it? He'd probably say, oh, my goodness me, my position here is untenable. You know, my goodness me. Do you know what I mean? Jed Maxwell, getting sucked into a bidding war is not ideal. I agree with that, Jed Maxwell. And I said it a week ago that the last thing Manchester United want is a bidding war because obviously Man United can only go so far. As soon as the bid goes further, they're going to say, nah, it's over. This is why Man United have targeted the player. This is why they've actually asked the entourage of the player to call out and say that what he wants, what transfer he wants, which club does he want to go to. So basically, if Cesco says, no, I want nothing else but Manchester United, Newcastle United will walk away. They've done that because they don't want a bidding war with Newcastle United, because the Newcastle United come out with 85 million plus 5 million in incentives. We're going to walk away from the deal, isn't it, at the end of the day? So look, what Man United are doing, which I feel is pretty clever, is that they're trying to work on the player and get the player to announce he wants to come to Manchester United. In that way, other teams will walk away from the deal, most likely. Big up job, Jeb Maxwell. Good to see you. Good comment, mate. Hope you're well. Of course. Natty, Newcastle United and Manchester United in football in terms are night and day. Absolutely. Newcastle United are I love Newcastle United. Why do I love Newcastle United? Because Newcastle United gave me some of my greatest memories as a Manchester United fan, not least in 1990, obviously 1996, when we won the league for them, pecking back a 10-point deficit, something like that. And you know what? And not least in 1999, when the second part of the treble, when we beat them in the FA Cup final. Even Eric Ten Hag beat them in the League Cup final, for crying out loud. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. So yeah, Newcastle, you be you and keep being you. Keep being Newcastle and you'll be fine. Absolutely. I would think if Man United failed to bring a Cesco, then we'd bring on Belabor. It depends. I do think Man United is a striker. The overriding problem at Man United over the last 2 seasons, Emirate, has been the goal scoring. Man United ain't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. What's the most important thing about football? Scoring goals. Every single time Manchester United are playing games last season, it's 0-0, 70 minutes, free kick to like Wolves or a team like that, and they score, and we lose. That is the difference between a good striker and a bad striker. You can win 2-1, or you can lose 1-0. And also the goalkeeper is important, because I did bring in this scenario the other day in regards to the goalkeeper. You can have all the great players on the pitch, but you're not going to win every single game 4-0, are you? So what I would say is that it's 1-1, 1-0 to Manchester United, 1-0 to Manchester United, 92 minutes on the clock, free kick to Everton, for example. Cross comes in. Onana goes to punch the ball, misses the ball. There's a big mess in the box. Open goal. 1-1. Game finishes 1-1. That's the difference between a great goalkeeper as well. Every single position on that pitch is important for Manchester United. Every position. But when we're looking at key positions right now, what Man United need, a striker and a goalkeeper. A midfield is important. But I doubt Man United are going to do a move for a midfielder. There's obviously the links with Fermin Lopez, unless they remove a midfielder. Man United have Bruno in that number 8 position, and Bruno will play in that number 8 position regardless what people think, regardless if they agree with it or not. We got one position to play for, okay? So we're going to have Mainu, Ugarte, Casemiro, Collier, Kone fighting for one position. 5 players fighting for one position. 5 players fighting for 2 positions is a lot. 5 players fighting for one position is astronomical. So will Man United do a deal for a midfielder? Of course, there was news about Baleba this week in regards to Ben Jacobs, and big up Ben Jacobs, absolutely smashing it this year. He said that Man United won't make a bid for Baleba this pre-season because his price is astronomical. His price is even more than Cesco. So they might make a move for him next season. That might be an avenue Man United will go down next season, as with Adam Wharton as well. Man United are huge admirers of. So that is one to watch. That is one to look out for next season, of course, in my opinion. Now, if Man United don't sign a striker, I mean, unless they sign Mateta or Ollie Watkins, I think it's going to be difficult for Man United to re-enter the Ollie Watkins race. Obviously, the way they've really done things with that. This is why I'm confident they're going to get Sesko. But obviously, Mateta would be one for me. If they don't get him, just concentrate on the midfield, fix the midfield first. I agree with that. But obviously, there is Mateta out there who I think is very underrated and a very good player. Big up, Amaret, my friend. Big up. Good to see you, of course. Mark, we should just save our money and go for what we have. Rasmus, Xerxes, and Cheeto, and get game time with Develop. Not sure with Cesco. Look, mate, I don't want to be... That's Glazonomic comment, Mark. That's a Glazonomic comment. Absolutely no. Man United need a squad. Man United are not good enough. This team came 15th. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can't change the spots on a leopard. Man United need new players. It's as simple as that. And at the end of the day, if we enter next season with Rasmus and he doesn't score any goals, Xerxes a number 10, and no one would tell me he's a number 9. He's a number 10. If we're going to go into the strike force with a number 10 and a striker that can't score, we're going to be in problems. And then we're going to be looking at things after the Arsenal game, the Liverpool game, the Chelsea game, the City game, in the first 10 games, and we're going, we should have bought a striker. I said it last January. What did I say last January? I said Manchester United will play Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final. Scroll back. I said Manchester United will play Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final. Tottenham Hotspur will score, and the game will end 1-0 because Man United are toothless up front. And it's exactly what happened. I would have won a lot of money if I put a bet on it. I would have won a lot of money if I put a bet on it. Fuck you. I would have done. I would have been a rich man. Tyber, for the first time, I actually see a plan behind our plans and how we do deals. Absolutely. The players we bought and the players we are after shows us things are changing. 3 more such windows and we'll be fine. Tyberg, I agree with that. You know, one thing I want, though, one thing I really want is that I want Amorim to have a fighting chance at the start of the season. You know, a fighting chance. So if we have Sesko and Buma and Cunha, I think that's a fighting chance, and a goalkeeper. I think that would be sufficient. Obviously, we can sign more players, obviously, as the window goes on. Of course, it ends on the 1st of September, of course. But I absolutely agree, Tyborg. I don't think we're far away. I think Man United are about 2 or 3 windows away from having a decent side, of course, guys. But it does all depend on Ineos, doesn't it? It does all depend on them and if they can do the deals, if they can get the business over the line. I do not trust these players. I do not feel like we should give them another chance. How many chances have they had? I think that a lot of these players do need to be kept on their toes. They do need players around them that can add competition. Because at the end of the day, we don't want an air of invincibility with this team. We don't want that feeling that they're invincible and they're not going to be removed from this team. They need competition. And over the years, what has been the overriding fact about Manchester United? Competition. Whether it's right wing, midfield, striker, goalkeeper, defense, there was always competition, guys. There was always 2 players for one position. And I think that is a very good thing because you always add the element of competition and competitiveness is very important in football because it keeps you competitive at the end of the day. Big up Tyborg, the legend as usual, guys. No, we need 2 centre forwards. That's why we're looking at Wisa, and Wilson has gone 1-3. Lee, look, listen, Lee, what I would say to you, Lee, is best of luck, mate. Best of luck. All I can say to you is best of luck. I can't change your feelings. You're affiliated with Newcastle United. You're not going to change your feelings about what's going on. You're not going to see things objectively. You know, you're going to see things from your own point of view. And I understand that you're a Newcastle United fan. You were born and raised as a Newcastle United fan. I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm going to have my opinion about Manchester United. So fair play. Good luck to you, fella. Absolutely. Sal, did you see Amorim interview? He said player were not given their all now. They are given. It's absolute shambles to hear that. Natty, can you believe that? The fact that Ruben Amorim he said that they're having lunch together, they're eating together, and they're not leaving. Like before, what Manchester United players would do, when they finished eating, they would leave and the other players would still be eating. That you see these small details here. What I was talking about, small details. When you finish your dinner at Man United, and I'm bringing in such a small thing, but it's so important. You sit there and wait for your teammates. And you talk and you have a discussion about things. You get the calamari, not calamari. Calamari's nice in dinner and that stuff like that, but calamari. You get that going, guys, absolutely. And you start talking to each other and but getting up and walking off, see you lads. It's not really that. That's like Ted Lasso sort of thing, you know. Who's that actor in Ted Lasso who was the star footballer in the opening series, and he ends up, you know what I mean? I've forgotten his name. They made a song about him, but yeah, look. It's like that, isn't it? You know, I'm better than the team. I'm up. See you, lads. I'm out. And that's the mentality that Man United need to change. I really do agree with that. And, you know, these small details that Ruben Amorim is doing, they can make a huge difference. And not least, removing the bad eggs. We said it a week ago, didn't we? About Sancho, about Rashford, removing the bad eggs from this football team. Garnacho, not on this tour. And there's already rumours about the atmosphere at the football club being a lot better. Lo and behold, isn't that incredible, isn't it? That you remove a few players, I mean, almost like they were the problem. There you go. Lee, do you think there is a chance that it stays at Newcastle? I've heard he trains alone in Spain. There you go. Look, at the end of the day, Tybo, levels to this game, isn't there, Tybo? Levels to this game. If anyone did that to Manchester United, regardless who you were, right, you won't be playing for Manchester United anymore, especially under Ruben Amorim. You say that you want to go to another football club, you won't be playing for Manchester United anymore. Guys, you wouldn't. Absolutely not. And don't bring Wayne Rooney to me, because Wayne Rooney was many, many years ago. And Wayne Rooney obviously was under Alex Ferguson, and he was disillusioned with the Glazers not spending any money. And that was the fact. And he stayed anyway and scored a lot of goals and won trophies. Kevin, hope we get Benjamin Cesco, bro. Big up, bro. How you doing, Kevin? It's good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing good, fella. Good to see you again. Cisco. The dong. Hopefully we get the dong in regards to the transfer, isn't it? Cesco is coming to Manchester United, absolutely. No, Cesco is coming to Manchester United. Big up, Etta. Hope you're doing well. Cesco is coming to Manchester United, hopefully, mate. I really do hope so. Fingers crossed, of course. Jeb, the stadium's going to be late and way over budget. You can see that coming a mile off. Absolutely, Jeb. Look, at the moment, what I've said it many, many times. The only reason that Ineos want this regeneration project at a new stadium is so they can imprint their name all over the stadium. So Jim Ratcliffe Stadium, Ineos Hotel, Glazers Hotel, Motel, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, and this is what they want. This is what they're after. Man United, Old Trafford can be regenerated. It can be fixed. They don't want to do that because they can't input their name on Old Trafford. And that's why. We should never move away from Old Trafford. Liverpool wouldn't do it. Real Madrid wouldn't do it. Barcelona didn't do it. AC Milan and Inter Milan, they share a football stadium in Milan, but they fought for not moving away from the San Siro, and they're still playing at the San Siro, and they want to regenerate the San Siro. You know what I mean? This is what we're talking about. We do not move away from our home. Look what happened to Arsenal. Everyone was saying, Arsenal need a new stadium. Highbury's too small, blah, blah, blah. Look what happened. Have they won a league since they moved away from Highbury? No. They've been poor, actually. You know, so at the end of the day, look, I don't want us to move away from Old Trafford. I don't care if we're winning trophies on Hackney Marshes, as long as we're winning football matches on the ground, on the pitch. That's all I care about. I don't care about a shiny new tent. I really don't. I don't. And I'm too old now to think about what's going to be happening in the future, 10 years down the line and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Obviously, the regeneration project is a big thing for Ineos and the Glazers, of course. Cesco's a Man United supporter, so is his agent. Absolutely, he is. Yeah, and so is his family. John O'Connell. Sir Jim said he would not fund the stadium. Yeah, exactly. He's waiting for the taxpayer, the good old taxpayers' money to pay for the stadium. Absolute disgrace. But then again, Man City have a taxpayer stadium, don't they? Natty, I hope this stadium plan will not happen. I want them out. Absolutely, me too. Tyborg, I am afraid this stadium thing will again affect our investment in the team itself. Exactly, Tyborg. Exactly, mate. This is exactly my concern. We don't need a multi-billion, 7.5 billion stadium right now. We need a good football team. And then organically, you could build a stadium. Organically, you could prove your stadium by winning trophies. Why don't do that? Look, you know what Jim Ratcliffe said, which is very ironic. Jim Ratcliffe said, well, we want to walk to the right destination rather than run to the wrong destination. Having a stadium is sprinting to the wrong destination. Sprinting to the wrong destination. We do not need a 7.5 billion stadium when we have a team that finished 15th in the Premier League, and we need to improve this football team and lose to Europa League final against Spurs. We need a good football team. First and most, bread and butter. That is what it's all about. Fix the football team and then think about bloody new shiny new toys. And that's what I would say. I would love to stay at Old Trafford. Munich clock. My big first memory of coming to Old Trafford was I want to have a picture next to the Munich clock. I want to have a picture next to the Munich clock. And guys, I'm going to bring those pictures into the show very, very soon. I have a very, very big curtain, so it's very embarrassing. But I'm going to bring in those pictures into the show, guys, because I washed my hair and I didn't put gel in it and it went puffy. So I look like a McDonald's sign. Absolutely. Edson, good morning. Big up myself and thank you for joining the community, you absolute legend. Edson, Jackson will be our lucky charm. Jackson will be our lucky charm. My goodness me, guys, my goodness me, that is a strange one, Edson. But you know what? You never know. Stranger things have happened. If he becomes our lucky charm, you never know. Guys, can I ask you a question? If Manchester United don't manage to get Cesco over the line, and we ain't got anyone else we're linked with, would you just accept Rasmus over Jackson? I think I probably would. I'll be honest with you, Edson. I'll probably accept Rasmus over Jackson and concentrate on the midfield. I think I'll do that because I don't think they're much different, if I'm being totally honest. Look, before Jackson signed for Chelsea, and it is underrated how much of a graveyard Chelsea is for certain talent, which it is, in my opinion. People don't mention this quite a lot. But Jackson was very highly rated. I think he was playing for Villarreal, but it was very, very highly rated. And you know, we rated him back then. We thought he was good. He was banging in the goals, etc., etc. You know, but you know, since he's gone to Chelsea, it hasn't quite worked out for him at the end of the day. Big up, Edson, and thank you so much for joining the community. You absolute legend. Thank you, mate. Big up, Owen. How you doing? Nah, what don't you want, my friend? Big up, my friend. Good to see you, Owen. I thought you live in the Middle East. I do live in the Middle East, mate. I'm in the Middle East right now. I live there. I'm from East London. I'm from Leytonstone, mate. Leyton, in East London. At the moment, I live in the Middle East, as you can see. Here's the time. The time is 10:52, I am. 10:52. That's the time in Abu Dhabi. That's why I am. Owen. Not true. Number 8 again. Owen, big up, Owen. Thank you for joining this community. Any chance walk away from the Cesco deal and get midfielder goalkeeper? Done and dusted. I think if Man United walk away from the Cesco deal, and the only option is Jackson, right? I would say Man United should just go for a goalkeeper and midfield and just fix Xerxes and Rasmus up front. That's what I would say in regards to that. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's probably what I would do. But if Man United miss out on Cesco and get an Ollie Watkins, I'll be happy with that. I'll be much more happy with an Ollie Watkins, for example. You know, at the end of the day, can Man United save money on the strike position, bring in a midfielder and a goalkeeper? I think a specialist position is a striker. You cannot compensate how important a striker is. A specialized striker, specialized number 9. And I think Man United has severely lacked a number 9 over the years. This is evident in regards to our goal difference, minus goal difference. I never would have thought when I was younger that Man United have a minus goal difference. It used to be, how many can we score? Can we get to 100 goals this season? It used to be like that. Do you know what I mean? Nowadays, can we get a goal this month? You know what I mean? It's like that at the end of the day, do you know? Natty. He is very technical player, Fermin Lopez. We need Spanish players. We need a kind of technical baller like that. I agree with that. Absolutely, Natty. Absolutely. Lee, installments will be offered 65 in alpha and it still got rejected. Big up, Lee. Let's see what happens, mate. Let's see what happens. Lee, as I said, interest is 50 million per annum, and that's our biggest problem. Exactly, Randy. But Man United, look, what Man United have to be aware of is that if we do all of these installment plans and these deals that drag on for many, many seasons, Man United have got to understand that when it comes to next season, we're not going to have money, you know, because we're going to be overly stacked with debt, with more debt, of course. This is why we needed a full sale. This is why we needed the Glazers out. And this is why we didn't need a vanity project. This is exactly what we're talking about, isn't it? Thank you so much, Natty, you legend. Thank you, my friend. I hope you're doing well, guys. Very nice. Another young up-and-coming future player, technically brilliant on the ball. Brilliant player, absolutely. Good morning, VJ. How you doing, VJ Palmer? I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you on the stream. New to the channel, are you? Thank you so much for joining the community and the family, in which I say, of course, guys. And big up Araya. What's going on? Welcome back to the stream, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Big up, everyone. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Absolutely. You should work with United Stand. VJ, I mean, I've got this platform of mine. I've got a lot of love for Mark Goldbridge. We've been friends for 7 years. Roughly, I've known him for 7 years, should I say? And you know what? You know, if they need me, I'm here. Mark knows if I'm here. If they need me, if they want to have the elite ball knowledge, I'm right here. VJ, thank you so much, mate. Absolutely, I see that as a compliment. At the end of the day, I have nothing against them, and fair play to them. It's a very difficult thing to do every single day, 2-3 times a day. You know, I mean, it is a difficult thing today. But big up VJ for joining the community. Spread the word. Keep spreading the Stretford Post word, and we'll see what happens. You never know what's going to happen in the future. That's all I say, VJ. One thing is for certain, I have spoken about it with Mark, of course. Randy, Newcastle are wannabes. United are has-beens. Nah. Man United are not a has-been. Man United will always be a has-been. Be careful when you speak about Man United. Because at the end of the day, I would never see. I think about the Busby Bays when I think about Man United. I think about 1968 when I think about Man United. 1963, 1974. I think about 1999 when I think about Man United. I don't like bringing bad light into Man United like that. Has-beens, you know. Man United are gonna be. Don't worry about that. That's what I would say. Hope we get Cesco. However, Watkins is not bad. It's not a bad option, VJ. And if we don't get Cesco, I'm not going to turn my nose up at Ollie Watkins. I think he's a proven goal scorer. 16 goals last season, of course, guys. Very, very decent replacement for that at the end of the day. I don't know what you feel about this, VJ, though. I like Mateta as well. How do you feel about Mateta if we go after Mateta? You know, I mean, he was in my top 3. When we were going after, obviously, Gyökeres, Osimhen, Mateta was number 3 for me. Newcastle are going to get Wisa. If they get Wisa, I don't think they're going to get Cesco, in my opinion. Sal, is Man United included in the special club clause? Yes, we are. There's only a few special clubs out there. Newcastle not one of them, sadly, for Newcastle fans, as much as they want to talk about being. Bruno should never leave. Let the cash, big up VJ. However, Bruno should leave. Look, at the end of the day, VJ, we spoke about this, you know, quite intensively about Bruno leave. We all felt that Bruno needed to move on in regards to the 100 million. It is what it is, and we have to support the player now that he's going to be staying at the football club and hoping he does well at the football club. My biggest overriding concern is that we rejected 100 million to pay Bruno out of position, which is the number 8 position. Now, I really do hope he improves, and I really hope he becomes good next season. I like Bruno. As people know on this channel, I've worked with Bruno's brother. I know Bruno's brother. And you know what I would say is that I really hope that he has a really good season next season. If anyone deserves a title, it is Bruno, because Bruno does give his all. We have to say that every single game, Bruno does give his all. He does give his all for the cause and for the football club. Absolutely. Big up, VJ. Newcastle fans on salt this morning. I mean, Newcastle fans are a bit salty. They're always going to be salty, mate. We've already got Mbumo from them, Cunha from them. You know, who else? We got Andy Cole from them. Thank you for Andy Cole, Newcastle. You would forever be a legend for that. We gave you Keith Gillespie. Don't forget that. Absolutely. But you know what? They're always going to be a little bit bitter when it comes to Manchester United, isn't it? We have caused them a lot of pain. Let's be real, guys. At the end of the day, Manchester United, in particular Newcastle, we've given them a lot of pain. We have to think about that. And you know what? A moment of silence for Newcastle fans. There we are. That's their moment of silence, because at the end of the day, we have given them a lot of pain over the years, a lot of awful pain. And I do feel bad. I don't really. But you know what I would say is that thank you, Newcastle, for giving me some of the most greatest memories as a football fan. You really did, honestly. You played your part. Well done. A participation trophy. Well done. Absolutely. Guys, absolutely. But yeah. Tyborg. VJ, this place is much better than TOS. Respect to Goldbridge, but we always have a special and great bunch here. Sal's the future and bright. Thank you, Tyborg. You are a legend, mate. Your compliments have no bounds. It really means a lot, mate. I'm a humble guy from Leytonstone. Nothing special, and I really appreciate this community, because I am nothing without the community. I'm nothing without that. And we put in the work, we put in the hours, we do it every single day, you know, and yeah, just keep spreading the word. And, you know, everyone is welcome in the show. Even Mark is welcome. Everyone is welcome in the show. If anyone wants to come on this show, if Syed wants to come back on his show and he wants to defend himself, he's more than welcome to do that as well. Absolutely. Man United finished 15th. Newcastle have no trophies. Newcastle have no Champions League. Newcastle have no league titles. Newcastle have no FA Cups. Newcastle are a bum team. Shush. Man United put the Premier League on the map. You should be saying thank you. Barcelona, the scamming tramps of Europe, want everyone else's players for free. But Mark, I know. I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Yeah. So there's a few teams like that, unfortunately. Absolutely. Enjoy it, mate. It won't happen again. Revel on it. Take a picture. Mate, you played in the Championship a few years ago. What are they talking about? For goodness sake. I'm an idiot, Big O. I'm an idiot. Okay, mate. I'm an idiot. Okay, mate. That's good. That's good to know that I'm an idiot. It's thank God that thousands of others don't think that. You know what I mean? That's very good. But, mate, you know what? Whilst you're sitting at home in your barn, you know what I mean, chewing on pavements, what I would say to you, mate, is just relax, breathe a little bit. I know you have nothing in the cupboard. There's no food. There's nothing to eat. You probably have a bottle of water, you know what I mean, and yesterday's cereal. What I would say to you is this, mate. There are other channels out there that you can go on and have your little what is that punch bag moment that you wanna let out some anger because you're looking at the mirror and you see an absolute troll, you know, and literally a troll looking like a troll, absolute hobbit of a person. So what I would say is that don't feel down, mate. Don't worry about it. Life will get better. Go out for a jog. Enjoy yourself. It will get better. And have ambition in life. Because at the moment, let's be honest, guys, it's quantity over quality. And people like you, you don't really give nothing to society, mate. You don't really give nothing to society. So you're just an oxygen thief at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, do yourself a favor, mate. And either make yourself something or you know what? Spirit, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing good, my friend. Hope you're doing good. Absolutely. Jamie, good morning. Late in the chat. Big we got a Muppet Newcastle fan in the melt. Oh yeah. Look, at the end of the day, what I would say, Jamie, I would say this very loud and clear. I don't mind other fans in this channel. We've got a Liverpool fan here. We've got Newcastle fans. As long as they come up with a constructive opinion. And so far, Lee has come up with some constructive opinion. Apart from the 15th, that's pretty obvious. We came 15th and he's using emojis. I mean, who uses emojis at the end of the day? You know, only Newcastle fans. Newcastle are the emoji of football. They're the emoji of football. Basically, when I send an emoji to my friend and I send a big laughing emoji, right? I got a really blank face. It's a bit like Newcastle talking about trophies. They're talking about trophies, but they don't have any. Absolutely. Big up everyone, though. Big up Darren. Big up everyone who's joined the stream. You're absolute legends. Thank you for joining Stretford Post. Everyone who's new as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Smash a like on the video as well, guys. And don't forget to put your notifications on. If I go live, I will be live if miraculously something happens, of course, guys. But it's been a great chat. Thank you so much, everyone. You're absolute diamonds. Have a great day, great night, great evening. I'm back for Chatterbox later on. Don't forget to join me for that. And also, guys, I will be live for the watch along tonight between Manchester United and Everton. It will be kicking off basically tomorrow for me, 1 a.m. for me. So I will be live 12, 11, 10, 9:30 p.m. 10, 11, 12. 9:30 p.m. UK time. I will be live for you guys. So keep your notifications on when I go live for the watch along, of course, guys. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me read Coco. If the Premier League was a country, Newcastle would be in Giles' term. I mean, at the end of the day, thank you so much, Ali. Good to see you. I'm a Juventus fan, the old lady, of course. Enjoy watching your fight for nothing special, really. You're watching you fight for nothing special, really. That's good, Ali, because at the end of the day, Juventus haven't won anything in years. So, you know what? Enjoy being Napoli's whipping boys. Absolutely. So, guys, have a great day. South is better than the North. Guys, have a great day. You wouldn't know about that because you're probably not from Turin. You wouldn't know about that. But anyway, guys, have a great day. Enjoy it. I'll see you later for Chatterbox. Take it easy. Peace.